Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick preface to this video here. There's a couple things that you really need to be mindful of. Number one, when you pull your tank, be careful with the fuel. It's flammable. Drain your tank first. Luckily, I had this drain plug. I could drain the tank out. The other thing I did, since there was a filler neck as well as the sending unit hole, I was able to just air the tank out. I used the leaf blower. I just let it sit there for like 5-10 minutes to blow all the fumes out of the tank after I drain the tank. So be very, very careful. When you're drilling the holes in the tanks, they will cause sparks, especially the big hole saws, and you can blow yourself up. So be very careful. Ideally, air it out, blow it out, let it sit for a day if you need to, but be really careful because you don't want to get hurt. The other thing that comes to mind is when you're mounting the in-tank retrofit kit, a couple things. Number one, get everything fit before you mount the pump. I made this mistake. It caused a bunch of trouble and a bunch of extra work. So get the tank fit before you even think about fitting the pump, installing the pump, cutting the lines to size. Get it fit. Make sure it's fit completely correctly and it's ready to bolt in before you put the pump in there. The other thing also is to make sure you use a PTFE type pipe dope or plumber's tape on these lines. It's got to be able to handle gasoline to seal these correctly. The other thing is to make sure that you align these fittings to where your lines are going to go and install them permanently before you mount the tank and before you mount the pump. You need to get these pointed in the right direction because when you turn these fittings, it turns the tubes that are attached to them. So if you've got the pump bolted up here, sorry for the noise, they're doing a roof on my house. When you have a pump bolted up here, it is going to turn the pump or it twists the line and mess things up. So get these done first. Get the kit ready to mount, get everything nailed in, and then pull it back out and then mount your pump. On to the other topic of the pump. Because I didn't take my own advice and I mounted this pump and unmounted it about 7 times, there's a little post here, it's plastic, that holds this pre-filter onto the pump on this kemso. In my case, I had knocked this thing off so many times and it ripped there's just a little retaining lock washer. There's no screw, there's nothing there. It's just a little clip-on washer. So it essentially destroyed this little post. So what I ended up having to do when I got ready to do everything for the last time, I melted this with a big soldering iron to lock it in place. I didn't want to drill into it. I didn't want to put any screws or anything on it. So I just got to have a big old soldering iron that I have that I got from a garage sale, and I just melted that post to lock this thing in place. All right, on with the video. All right, I'm getting ready to drill some holes. What I am figuring is that on the bottom of the tank, this is an aftermarket tank somebody has installed, but there is a little sump. Now this bucket for the fuel is not going to be able, let's see if I could set you guys down there. The bucket is not going to be able to go all the way into that sump. That's the bottom of the tank. So what I'm going to try and do is just get the bucket inside along the same line. It's going to be up kind of over the top of it, but it'll still be at the bottom of the tank as low as it can go, and centered over that. That'll also give us enough room for the sending unit, because the sending unit goes in like this and then down. So like I said, I'm gonna have to cut this tube and bend the float over to the right to clear. We'll sort all that out, but
I get to open up some of my new drill bits. The other thing to keep in mind is that what I did was left the tank out, drained. There's a drain hole down here. Drained all the liquid. I don't know if you can see that. We drained all the liquid gas out of there. And then I ran this. To blow out all the fumes, so that when I drill into this can, it doesn't blow me up. So I've got all the fumes out of it. It's been sitting like that all day. I've blown it out a few times to make sure all the fumes are out. Now I've got a bunch of magnets, and I've got my 3-piece hole saw from Harbor Freight. Check the instructions. And this kit is the CPP, a large in-tank fuel pump assembly. And these are the instructions here. And I need a 4.5-inch hole. So I know one of these is 4.5. That is a problem. Cut a 4.5-inch hole to the top of the tank. Well, there's problem number one. This is 4.25. So it looks like I need a trip back to Harbor Freight to get the proper parts, proper tools. Since I don't want to go 20-30 minutes all the way to the store, I'm just going to try something out to see if I don't have to. I'm just going to drill a 4.25-inch hole in this drywall to see if it'll fit. Put this together temporarily. Let's see if it'll fit, and then I might even mock up the actual fuel pump in there too. Just might. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna have to put the fuel pump on to see if it's gonna fit. All right, so I've got the hole drilled, and I'm gonna give this the real test now. Show you. Get it in there. It's gonna work. Now we have to trim the height down. Actually working. So a 4 1/4 inch hole is going to be okay. You can see here, this is where the fuel pump is going to mount. After we have to trim this piece here to size, and this will be in line like that. Pickup tube on the bottom, and then turn, drop it straight into the same bucket. Okay, so what we got to do now is get to the bottom flange, this piece here, so we can use this for the template for the holes. Looks like I need to get the right. Find the right size here. What is this one? It says 1/8 inch, but it seems a little, just a little big. All right, there's our template. This guy's centered. Going in this way, that's going to be under. This is actually going to be underneath. Those two started. Those aren't going to fit through the hole, so we need to go a little bit bigger. This is 3/16. 3/16. A little bit bigger than 3/16. So I'm going to use a 13/64. That's 3/16. There's a lot of stuff in there. All right, so I have shortened it, and now it is ready to mount, but I need to clean it, tighten it, and then I gotta get the fuel pump mounted on there. And I need to shorten this guy. Instructions. What are the instructions? Probably blew away. It's time to clean up the work area a touch here. The instructions. Now I'll have to find them. Okay, they did blow away, but I found them. So now what we need to do here, let's make sure we get this thing right. So I need to have the fuel pump and the pickup in the bottom. I need to have a 1/2 inch from the bottom for the return hose, and I think I can make that happen. So this guy, here's the knife. Inch from the bottom. Flat. Turn hose. Razor knife right there. Razor knife. So now I need fuel pump. So this is the kemso. this is the part we need to keep kind of clean, as opposed to the giant mess I've made. Zip ties. So this is the one that's going to fit on the bottom for the pickup. It's got its own little retainer clip. It's a little bit different from the other ones, but it will fit in there just perfectly. So I'm going to go like that. And I have to put this little retainer clip on it. Hopefully I can do this without sending this clip into La La Land. There we go, that seemed to work pretty good. Okay, so we've got our return. Hey, look at that. It's the same. It is the same, and they're even wired the same. It's wired positive, negative, and we've got positive, negative going to the proper spots up there. So that's going to work. Now we just need to, first of all, clean all this stuff. Look at all that. So I guess it's a good idea to clean everything. All right, so I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna figure out how far down this needs to be. So that is the other. I got clamps. I think this guy goes down here to keep everything even on the bottom. There we go. Nice if I had the instructions, but those are gone too, so we'll figure it out. That needs to go right about there. Okay. Gotta get a clamp. So you need to have a clamp up here, because this is going to be high pressure. And I hope that they have provided us with high pressure line, although it doesn't say anything, but it is really thick and braided. So fingers crossed on that. This way with that guy. guys can see. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Well, I'm spending all my time. All right. So we have cut. Let's get you guys caught up because I had a camera mishap here. So this is my Kemso 340 liter fuel pump, model 10910. I discovered that the wiring matches up and it's the same connector, so it plugs right in. Hopefully it's making a good connection, but yeah, it does feel snug and tight. I put the smaller filter, this is the pre-filter for the pump, and then I have also cut this return line to where it's about a ½ inch from the bottom, and then this rubber piece goes right here on the bottom, and then I'm mounting the pump to where it's going to rest on the bottom, and then I need 2 clamps. Oops. And I just pulled out everything. Okay. Can't lose that little clip retainer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the pump up in here. Put the pickup and the retaining nut back on. There we go. So now we've got everything back where it needs to be. No, that is not working very well. Let's make sure that this thing hasn't moved. Okay. This way. So I've slid the filter in, and now I'm going to back it up a little bit and then slide her in this way. There we go. We need to have the rubber bumper on the bottom here. That goes in like that. Push it in like this. There, that's much better. Now, as I have everything mounted, I've got a good bit, enough of that in there. Make sure we have enough of that. I'm going to make sure I have enough of the clamp on the pump so it gets a really good grip on it. A little bit more on there. There we go. All right. Okay. So now I've got clamps. Alright, that's tight there. Tighten this one up here. Actually, I made a mistake here. I need to make sure I have this whole assembly tightened first with the top nuts. So we're going to get that done when we come back. And I forgot to tighten that too. Okay, it's all right. Got a little bit of. Okay, I found what I need, I believe. So, this is Blue Monster PTFE pipe thread. So this should handle the gasoline. sand line. And since this is going to be sitting sideways, facing the right side, actually, this thing, the tank is going to be this way. This is going to be fitting that way in the tank. So I need to have them put facing that way. I'm going to take out the vent. Get it out of the way for now. And we'll get the sand. It needs to be is the return line. The other thing I forgot to do was tighten this guy up, but we'll tighten that up at the end because I can use it to position everything when I put the pump back up. So alright, so this guy's going that way. Send needs to be get this thing about like that. Let's do it. And hook everything back up. Get this thing right again. Just need to get that right. Hopefully for the last time. Pickup tube. That in on the bottom. Okay. That should be right on the money. Right, we'll do the return line. Okay, that should work just fine. Okay, we can do the vent line now. Make Actually, I need to go a little bit more because I need to be able to fit all the AN fittings. That. Okay. I'm trying to think ahead. Because if this is going to be mounted that way, then I can have this guy this way. These two kind of heading in the same direction. Should have enough room there for my fittings. And then now I have enough room for the van. Going to snug this one in a little bit, and that should be all that needs. Okay, of course everything popped loose again completely. Everything completely popped loose. One more time. Now that one doesn't seem to be sitting in there very good. Another one. What I'm doing is I'm taking the other clip in the hopes that it will be tighter than this one that I have put on and taken off 3 or 4 times. So let's get that guy. And worst case scenario, right. Hopefully this is the last time we're doing this. Tighten this screw up. All right, so that's good there. That guy's locked in. That's the bottom. We're swooping it in. Getting the rubber piece down right. stay, does it? All right, so now we're locked in. Okay, we can put the... All right, that's it. We're locked in. We've got thread sealant. We've got the fittings facing the correct direction. I just need to tighten the second clamp. This first one is tight, and we need to just plug this guy in for the connection. Locked in there. So we're plugged. I'm going to tighten this for the vinyl time. Getting it in the right spot. All right, so that's all locked in. Then we need a zip tie. They give you these little tiny cheesy zip ties. I think I have some better ones. These were actually the ones that came with the kit, which look much better. So when the kit shipped, this piece was zip tied here to this one. So bolt tight, and I'm just going to zip tie the pump. Tight. All right. That looks good. And I'm probably going to put one more zip tie on here if I can find the other one. Sitting on it. There it is. So that's a tip. When the zip tie, if you have a big one like this, you want to reuse it, just don't cut the zip tie end that actually holds it. Cut the other end, and then if it's small enough on whatever you're using, you can use it for that. All right, that's the final product. Now we've got to put it back into the hole here. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to clean that out again. think I've got most of it. No, there's still some stuff in there. That said, the other precaution I'm going to take on this thing is I got a couple of magnets. So in order to keep any shavings that I may have missed out, pump screen, just put a couple of magnets. Actually, I'm going to put them on the tank, bottom of the tank. Yeah, I'll just put them here. And this way we can test fit this guy. Let's see what we did. That's good because it's a little high because we have this other flange and gasket mechanism here that's going in next. I'll get things set up, I'll come back. All right, we're back. So now what we're going to do is mount this onto. That's another thing that's cool about the way this one works is that you have this retaining plate. This goes up underneath there. And then you have this really large gasket that crushes around the ribs of the tank. So it should be a lot easier to install. Don't have to weld anything, don't have to do anything crazy. Just have to line up the screw holes to get it to hold. I did find these hex keys are 3mm. They're metric. That's why none of my bits were working. And you can see it's pretty easy to no welding, and then when I crush this, tighten this down, it's going to just crush the seal onto the tank. Slow but sure, but we're getting there. the problem. I need to cut some more off of it. It's not, if you can see it down here, I need to cut some more off of the basket so it will sit flush. Okay, here's an update. First thing was that the pickup tube kept falling off because I had knocked it off and pulled it on and off so many times that the post on the bottom where it locks in was just destroyed. So I ended up getting an old soldering iron and melting it on to keep this in place. Trimmed the return tube so it wouldn't tear up the fabric. Found the backing support for the fuel pump. Got everything plugged in, wired up, ready to go, so it's ready to go back in the tank.